Sports and politics collide once again. So, Milwaukee Bucks executive Alex Lasry has announced that he will be running for the Senate in 2022. So, obviously, it's the Milwaukee Bucks, so he's running for the Senate of Wisconsin. He's going to be running against the current U.S. Senator of Wisconsin. His name is Ron Johnson. And Lasry made this announcement on YouTube. He said, in this YouTube video, and I quote, "We need a new way of thinking and new perspective." His launch video included endorsements from several prominent Milwaukee politicians, including Milwaukee County Executive Dave Crowley and Milwaukee Common Council President Cavalier Johnson. My bad, that wasn't part of the quote. That was just who he's got endorsements from. He's a son of the Bucks co-owner Mark Lasry, and he's a senior vice president of the team. And honestly, couple issues that they were pointing out was the Jacob Blake shooting that happened, and he touched up on that as well. He said some things are bigger than basketball. The stand taken today by the players and org shows that we're fed up. Enough is enough. Change needs to happen. I'm incredibly proud of our guys, and we stand 100% behind our players, ready to assist and bring about real change. So yeah, you know what, Nate? You start off first. Your thoughts on Alex Lasry running for Senate in 2022?
Yeah, I just want to wish him the best of luck. Alex Larcy, he's done a really good job with the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, obviously, getting great players like Giannis and much more. Done a really great job with this team. One thing that you all should keep in mind, I don't think you mentioned this, that this is his first run for public office. So I'm very
Right.
curious to see what his actual plan is, given that it's his first time. We don't necessarily know exactly what his plan is. I'm really curious to see that. Yeah, man. I mean, this is another big example of sports and politics colliding once again. I mean, and here's why I always say it, man. And I think the most recent athlete that I can think of that's involved in politics, if y'all watch WWE, Kane, the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. I think that's what it is. Like, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that's like the
Yeah,
most recent
Knox,
athlete that I
Knox
know of.
County,
Yeah,
Knox County.
yeah, something like that. So it's not common for athletes or owners of teams to actually literally become politicians, but it happens and it's
Right.
a good thing.
Yeah.
And here's why I think it's a good thing. A lot of people don't necessarily understand when I say sports is the hub of entertainment. Think about it. Sports, yeah, it's not like Hollywood, it's not the movie, it's not the TV show, it's not any of that. But you watch sports, you're engaged, right? You cheer your team. You say F that team or F this guy or I love this dude or whatever. You're engaged. You're entertained. That's why I say sports is entertainment. And without sports, right, in my opinion, without sports, there's no entertainment. Forget Hollywood. Forget all these shows. Forget all these movies. Without sports, there's no entertainment. It's as simple as that. And whether you like it or not, sports covers most of what we see on TV. All the entertainment that we see on TV revolves around sports. That's why I think it's great for politics to be promoted in sports because almost everybody in the world watches sports, whether it be UFC or WWE or baseball or football, whatever it is, it gets promoted one way or another because sports is just such a big platform throughout the world that not only does everybody watch it, you can promote one thing and boom, your business goes booming because it's sports. Sports is just big like that, and that's why politics is such a big deal when it comes with sports because it gets promoted and everybody starts to learn more from these athletes and the owners and whatever, and it's just a great platform to promote this on. So with that said, um, again, I'm again the one thing I'm worried about with Alex Larchey is that it's his first time. So, you know, I'm very curious to see what his plan is. I actually wouldn't even say I'm worried about it. I would just say I'm more curious as to what his plan is. But with that said, I'm sure he'll do well. Especially with saying how he wants change, and that's what everybody wants. If they hear a politician that wants to make change happen in this country, which it needs to happen, believe me, it does, then they're all in for it. And if he's willing to do it, trust me, I'm all in for it too. So with that said, I wish Alex Larchey the best of luck, running for Senate, and I honestly hope he lives up to his word.
Yeah, I'll start from where you ended. First of all, best of luck to Alex Lasry on going into politics and running for Senate in 2022. Yeah, one I want to say this though. When you were talking about athletes going, the one guy I think you forgot to mention, the first one I think of is Manny Pacquiao. Despite
Yeah,
him
yeah,
not being like a US senator, he is still a senator in the Philippines. So that is one too. As for executives though, this happens on rare occasions, but let me tell you something. There is one the recent one I can think of was Heather Locklear, the one who owned the Atlanta team for the
yeah, yeah.
WNBA. So yeah, and then obviously there was the whole like thing with her and her team. Yeah, there was a whole thing with her and her team and how they didn't agree with her. Not Heather Locklear, excuse me. I always mess up this girl's name. I don't know why I do it. I don't know why I do it. It's not her name.
That's whatever.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of her name. Like,
I know who you're talking about, but I can't necessarily remember her name.
yeah, I always mess up her name. I think I've done it in a couple videos. Atlanta Dream owner. Hang on a second. I'm gonna look this up right now because this really is bothering me. Kelly
Kelly
Loeffler. That's what
Loeffler.
it is.
Yeah,
Kelly Loeffler. I got her and Heather Locklear. I apologize. Kelly Loeffler. Kelly Loeffler owned the Atlanta Dream, and then obviously she had her opinions on certain issues, and they didn't agree with those certain issues, and now she's being forced to sell the team, or not forced to, but she's basically probably going about that time and selling the team. So the point is like executives have ran for a Senate and they have became successful. Like Kelly Loeffler, she has won the Senate before. She recently lost it this year, but she has won it before. So it is possible that Alex Lasry can win this Senate. And like obviously him being involved in sports, it's obviously like it is a big deal because like you said, a lot of people watch sports now. To us, that is our hub of entertainment. If sports did not exist, I don't know what we would do. You know what I'm saying? Like back in when the pandemic first started, and there were no sports, and all the sports got canceled. We kind of lost our minds. But like not everybody watches sports, and a lot of people can live without it. So like I wouldn't say it's the number one like hub of entertainment. It could be statistically, but it all depends on the person too as well. But the whole point is, you know, executives can run for Senate and they can do a very good job at it too. And I want to say he's going to focus more on like civil rights matters. Like he mentioned the Jacob Blake shooting and like how his team responded to it. Hopefully, he'll start making changes in Wisconsin for the good of making sure stuff like that don't happen. You know what I'm saying? So like, and then hopefully, he helps the state of Wisconsin in other ways too as well. Not just the civil rights matter, but other matters that might be negatively affecting that state. And honestly, the only thing you could really ask for Alex Lasry to do is just make the state of Wisconsin better. You know, that's
right. And
that's really all you can ask.
one thing I forgot to mention is, I hope when he does run for the office and all that or whatever, I hope he's one of those politicians that actually likes to sit down and talk with the people. I remember when the elections were going on, I had a couple local politicians come around, talk to us and all that. They're really cool people. They really are. It's like I like it when politicians like actually sit down and talk with the people because they get to understand their point of view and what they want, what they believe. And to be honest, I'm sure he will. Because like I said, all these guys want change, and the only way you're gonna get change is to hear what they have to say. You feel me? So I hope he's one of those guys, and I'm sure he will be. And I hope he makes state of Milwaukee well. And another thing I wanted to mention, he's 33 years old, so he's got
Pretty
time
young.
on his side, so he can even go up to Washington to serve in the Capitol. He's got that time. He's got time on his side, like a lot of coaches and a lot of athletes. He's got time. Well, I'm not sure if he'll want to stay in Milwaukee and stay with the Bucks. I'm not sure what his plan is with that. But if he decides to stick with politics, he could go to Washington at some point or another in his life.
Yeah.
That could be a goal of his.
Right. And I mean, like I feel like after Kelly Loeffler and after Alex Lasry, I feel like there are going to be a lot of executives in professional sports who are going to end up doing that same thing. Like, I personally, the one I'm thinking of, the one I think would be pretty cool is Mark Cuban. I think he'd make a good
Yeah,
what do you call it? He'd make a good seat. Business wise, I think the man's a genius. Other stuff, like, I'm not sure like what his beliefs are because he's mostly strictly business. He's talked a little bit on like Black Lives Matter and he supports that as well. So like there's a couple like, I get a little taste of like what he believes in, but his main thing is business. But him, I could definitely see him doing something like that. I mean, that's the number one guy I would like to see, not saying it's gonna happen or it will. That's the guy I would like to see. But after this, I think we're gonna start seeing a lot more executives end up trying to go through politics. Hey, you never know. Maybe after they retire, you'll start seeing athletes go through politics. We've seen that already. I know Fox News has Burgess Owens. I know that's the best one I can think of right now. So like I can't think of the rest, but hopefully after Alex Lasry and Kelly Loeffler, a lot of executives will of sports teams or professional sports teams or a lot of front office people will like think like, hey, maybe I might have a future in this as well, because honestly the world right now it's not where we want it to be, and we can definitely make it better. So with that being said, best of luck to Alex Lasry on his 2022 Senate run, and I wish him all the best of luck.